All right. It's Sunday. It has been a few days since I took a minute to set up this post. Um, and so I apologize. I didn't mean for it to go a couple of days like that. Got, just no big deal. Things in life, and it was good things. Um, the, 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 um, the main thing that I wanted to take this time to talk about with you guys is when we're working on anything in our life, whether it's building a business, whether it's your health, whether it's your marriage, um, and your relationships, um, whatever it is that you're trying to work on, the one thing you want to focus on is your why. Now, I've heard that said a million times. A million times. I feel like a million times. Um, and it bears repeating a million and one. Um, you have to have a reason to um, push past obstacles. All right, whatever that obstacle is going to be different for everybody. Um, but bear with me for 2 seconds. But it's going to be different for everybody, and um, I heard it said in a years ago in a previous business model that I'd worked on when I was much younger, that when your dream is big enough, the facts won't count. And I kind of like that better than what's your why. Um, so listen, this whole series, what I'm going to be doing, I've even been dreaming about how this can be, past being able to watch me um, go through this process, because I absolutely promise you, this will work. But you don't have to believe that. You can watch it. Okay, you can watch it, um, but it will. I absolutely will be able to come to you at some point and tell you that I believe it's in remission. And I'll even have doctors, my personal doctors that have been seeing me, um, touch on this. On the video. I'm going to interview them and I'm going to talk with them, but I'm not going to waste everybody's time until, I know that I'm past this. But bear with me. I'm just changing this. My background music is always Jimmy Buffett. If y'all know Jimmy Buffett, you'll hear it. Okay, so when your dream is big enough, the facts won't count. This diet is not hard, and the word diet I don't like, because it makes you think like you're going to be hungry. Like, I'm on a diet. One of the things I love about this is you never will be hungry. Never. You can eat all day long, if you really want to. Okay, there are strategies that I'm learning about. Um, that will You don't want to do that necessarily, but I mean, as far as being on this particular keto diet, as I learn it, as I work on it, there are some things around as far as health that we'll get into, that I've learned, that have to do with intermittent fasting. But that is not necessarily strictly the keto diet. The keto diet is just eating low carbs and high fat, actually. Um, and you can do it all day long. As long as you keep within, the right food types, you can eat all day long. So, having said that, does that make it easy? No. I want to be the most transparent and forthright person with regard to this. I think this will be easy if your why is big enough. If it's big enough. Okay? Because there are going to be things like anything in the world, nothing's easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Right? If it was easy to be a millionaire, everyone would be a millionaire. It's not easy necessarily. It's simple. Um, Now, has it been hard for me in the last couple months that I've started this? I just started it on February 13th. So has it been easy? I would say half and half, and that's partially because of my why. Um, I am so driven to succeed at this. You have, well, I don't want to say you have no idea. I want you to have an idea. I want you to understand that this is so important to me. My why is so big on this, okay, that I can sit in front of desserts and not eat them. I can, and that part has not been the simplest or easiest or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't use these words back and forth. But what I'm trying to say is the concept is simple. Will take a little bit of discipline. Yeah. I think, like I said, what kinds of challenges have I hit? Well, first of all, no, number one. Number one, as long as you're driven to do this, okay, this will not work if you're like, I think I want to try it. I'm sort of like tired of going to the doctors. Like, I get that. You're not there yet. Straight up, you're not there yet. I've done the doctor thing for 16 years. I've done the medicine thing for 16 years. I've tried, you know, working on the behavior management programs, which I do use now, and I touched on that in the last video with 2 wellness tools. So those things are going to be great. They are not a cure. They are to help you manage difficult situations, okay, and preventative as well. And then there's even post crises that I will touch on, and I will get into the program of RAP. Primarily, that's the one that I like the best, but there are others that will help you manage bad situations. What I really want to do is get into a body situation, into a mind situation, into a remission situation, where it's in remission, where I'm not really as focused on how do I manage a really hard moment, but the hard moments don't come as much, if at all, in the way that, the mental health creates the challenge, okay? Everybody has hard moments, don't get me wrong. But where your mind overtakes your ability to manage things, okay? So this video, what I want you to do, I want you to sit down and think about how serious you really are about not struggling with your mental health issue. Whether it's you're tired of listening to doctors that just force more meds on you, whether you do everything right and you still end up in scenarios that you break relationships and you hurt people, because I have done those things. Where they've hurt your employment and your work. Done that too. Where you've been hospitalized and done that too. My biggest trigger is having other people control me. I don't know where it came from. And right now, in this moment, I don't care. I just know that it's my trigger. You tell me what to do, and I pretty much don't want to do it. Like, right off the get-go, I don't care if you tell me to eat a chocolate cake. Like, I'll be like, nah, I don't want to right now. Like, it's just, I don't know what it is. My regional director and I were kidding around about the idea that is there really ODD in the world? Or are you just, raised with poor, control factors, are you really oppositionally defiant, or is there something there? I kind of think I'm closer to that than anybody. If there is a diagnosis of ODD, so to speak. I mean, I know it's out there, but I'm just saying, if you believe in that, I'm probably the closest there is to that. Tell me to do something, and I will automatically not want to do it. Doesn't matter how good it is for me. So, here's the challenge with that, right? Then what happens when I get confronted with cops? Oh my God. Cops don't realize that they are sometimes the biggest escalator in problems. They think everybody just needs to listen to them. Well, they can go F themselves. I really don't feel like that. Okay? Yes, there are good cops out there. And and I've liked some great cops. My uncle was a cop. He's retired and all, but there are great people out there that are cops, but don't come to me and tell me what to do. Like, that doesn't work. Okay? Cops think because they carry a badge and a gun. I don't want to get on my high horse on this, and it's part of, do we need them? We absolutely need them in society, okay? I am not of the mindset, not to get political, but I'm not of the mindset of defunding police by any stretch. I just think it needs some real good people, and we don't really have a strong enough filtering program, to be quite honest. But is the role something we need? 100%. Okay. So off of that high horse, because that's not what this is about. My trigger is people telling me what to do. So what's the worst case scenario that I've encountered? And I probably am talking to a lot of people right now that know what I mean, where go ahead and get hospitalized. And you'll find out what the worst type of control is. It's the next akin to that is prison. You know, um, it's not. Don't get me wrong. If you've been in prison, I've been in jail. I haven't been in prison, and it's not as bad. But it's pretty close because you don't get to pick your food. You can't leave. You don't get things in your rooms unless they approve it. Um, you don't. You can't leave a certain square foot area. Like kind of a dorm spot. You can walk around, but you get bored as hell doing that. You don't get control over anything, TV, whatever. Um, so yeah. So if you've ever been in a hospital, it sucks. It sucks. It absolutely sucks, and it is very akin to being in prison. And anyone who listens to this who has even worked in a hospital, and I've worked in one too. Okay, I worked in Western State Psychiatric Hospital, and I did it because I wanted to be an ear. I wanted to try and help others, just like I'm trying to do here, who struggle like I struggle, and I wanted to let them know you're not alone. This I think what you're going through is hell. I think that this situation sucks, and I'm here to try and do everything I can to make it better for you. This is the ultimate in that. So I'm gonna let you know that if you're at that point, this is where I want to talk to those who are at that point. If you're just like, oh, this is interesting. I mean, you can watch, but you're not gonna be ready to do this diet. You're not gonna be ready to follow the discipline of the ketogenic diet. Okay, it's not hard. All right, and I'll get into some of the specifics that I did in the first few weeks. Now, again, 8 weeks in, uh, I'm over here at my ex's house. I stay here a couple days a week because I bought the house for my family, so it's still my house. Um, but I stay here a couple days a week, and she's got soda all over the place and shit everywhere to eat, candies and crack and stuff that it makes it. Yeah, you know what? I can sit in this house with soda all over the place and all the junk food, and it's not a problem. Okay, I went out to eat with my kids multiple times at this point. Um, the worst scenario was when we went to Golden Corral and they sat us in front of the desserts. Um, like in front of the desserts. You know how they got the Golden Corrals, like the main foods in the middle and the salads on the one side and the desserts are on the other? Well, they sat us in front of the desserts, but that's fine. Like, um, you know, um, it was okay with me because my why is big enough. I can look at dessert, I can look at all that junk food, and it's okay. Because I know that ultimately, what is my why? Okay, what is my why? That's fine to ask. What is it that keeps me so strong on this that, my son just made me a cup of coffee, okay? And he put sugar in it. Thankfully, I caught that because the sugar thing was out. And I dumped it. I'm like, thank you for making it. Love you. Can't drink it. Dumped it out, made another cup of coffee without sugar. Why is this stuff not as hard for me as I think it could be for others? Because what is my why? My why is, I don't care about being healthy, I guess, all by itself. If I was on, a desert island, I wouldn't probably give a shit, but although I'd probably eat healthier anyway. But I'm just saying I wouldn't care as much. Why do I care so much? Because of my kids. I love my children. I did wrong by them in 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 having them. Well, I don't know if I would take so much responsibility on that, but they have been hurt by the fact that I struggle with a mental illness, and I would tell you that know that people around you who love you, friends, family, it's like they have mental illness because they have to deal with you, and I get that, and I don't feel guilty as much about that. The guilt comes when you know what to do and then you don't do it. So if you didn't know, that's okay. I don't I don't I don't feel terrible about that. I feel sad that they had to struggle through this with me. I'm ready to make that better. And ultimately, because I love my children so much, my real hope in this respect is that some other parent that maybe watches this can improve enough that their children don't have to suffer. Okay? That's the best way I know how to make amends to my kids. Okay? And they've struggled. I've screamed at them. I've lost my temper. I've never hit my children, but at the same time, I don't want you to say, "Well, I did it," and out of this condition, and I'm not as good. Don't take that. The condition causes you to do things you don't. Whatever mental health struggle you've got, I'm sure. But that's the whole point. Is it causes you to do things that really are not you. They're not you, and and I know my children have suffered, and the best way at this point that I know how to make amends to them is to try and help some other parent improve enough that their children don't have to suffer as much, or at all, maybe. Okay? That's my why. Okay? My father was a great dad, and he had a temper. But he also, like, he was that person. I sort of think about mental illness. People, there are no normal people. Let's start with that. Okay? There's degrees. Everybody's got a degree of, behavioral control, we'll say. And, you can have, like, let's say there's a normal line, and see if I can do this on the screen. And a lot of people are like under that normal, like they might have mental illness, but they can kind of stop before they get into a situation where it hurts other people. And then there's other people that are up here, which is like me. Okay? So I'm trying to bring myself back down. My father was down here. Okay? My father was able to, manage things. But I can kind of see a lot of my dad in me. But my dad was a great, great dad. Okay? He was a great dad. And he never, even in times when I think it would have been warranted looking back on life, really exploded. And he was a trial lawyer, so he certainly knew how to argue. But he always was able to do that. Wait, I lost my music. Let me hit. Oh shoot! There we go. Yay, more Jimmy Buffett. All right. Anyway, what is your why? I want you to sit and have a serious thought about to yourself. Write it down if you need to. Why would you be willing? Why would you be willing to give up something you love? Why would you be willing to give up something you love to improve your mental illness? Would you give up? Is there any food you'd give up? Would you give up going to Disney World? Would you give up, driving a car? How hard would it have to be for you to give in? Right? And think about those kinds of things. Where's your breaking point? Okay, what is it how hard do you really want to fight? That's not Jimmy Buffett. Anyway, that's YouTube for you. That's my question. What is your why? What dream for getting mentally healthy? Why is that so important that you'd be willing to give up some things? Because you're going to have to give up some things. But if the dream is big enough, it ain't that hard. It just ain't that hard. It's no big deal. Every time I look at that cup of coffee with a tiny bit of sugar in it, it's no plan B. Now, I'm going to leave you with this one last thing. If you've got the stomach for somebody that cusses a lot, David Goggins is an incredible motivational speaker. Now, he hates that word motivation, actually. But for me, he motivates me. Okay, and one of the things I learned from David Goggins, he's a retired SEAL, Navy SEAL. He's a badass. He is a badass. he ran 100 miles in 24 hours with like a broken leg. Well, in the last, I don't know if it was the last 30 miles, he had to tape up his leg so tight it numbed his leg because I forget what it was breaking through his skin. But he did it after the SEALs. He was doing it for some kind of race that was going to be to develop or to help other people, some kind of charity race. I forget what it was, but David Goggins is just awesome. Anyway, one of the things I learned from him is this, and I'm going to leave you with this. When your dream is big enough, the facts don't count, right? You've got to have a dream big enough that there's no plan B. That's the answer, okay? David Goggins, in one of his talks somewhere along the line, talked about the way that if you are willing to negotiate, you will spend more mental energy negotiating than just doing it. And the example that he uses with an alarm clock, right? So you have to get up by 7:30 and you set your alarm at 7, and you're thinking, if I get up early, it'll be great. I can do A, B, C, and D before I really have to get up, right? And how many of us hit the snooze at 7 and go, screw it, I don't really feel like getting up. I don't really need to do those extra. And you sit there and negotiate back and forth in your brain, and 7:30 hits and you get up because you have to get up because that's the time you have to get up, right? Think about how your brain beat you up mentally to negotiate whether you should or shouldn't. That argument, like on the shoulders, the devil and the angel. The devil and the angel, right? And they're battling it out. He shouldn't, he should, he shouldn't, he shouldn't. Here's the thing. Stop with all that. When the dream is big enough, just decide. Just go, I'm gonna make this decision. There's no plan B. There's no plan B. I will do what it takes because the dream is that important to me. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with that. I want you to just sit down and think about, why would I want to do this? Why do I want to do anything for that matter? Like, what are the reasons? But in this case, and the whole reason I'm doing this is so people can, watch me like a fly on the wall go from somebody that started this diet because I heard it was good for mental health, and it was the day I got out of jail. The day I got out of jail is when my daughter sent this to me. And yes, it took me a few days at that point to watch it and think about, oh my God, can I really believe in this? But I decided that there was enough evidence out there. There is enough case studies out there that for the person that commits, the potential to do this, succeed in putting your mental health into remission is absolutely there. So why would I negotiate this? Why? Is a piece of cheesecake somehow better than my mental health? Than my children not having to deal with a dad that flips out over stupid stuff? And many times it is. It's just that there's a culmination of many things. It's that explosion after 15 things, and the 15th one is the one that's stupid. But you've just had it. Well, so that's my challenge anyway. When I explode. It's never that one item. It's the culmination of me trying to hold it all in. But you know what? There's no plan B. And I want you to feel like that. If you're going to embark on this and you've got a strong enough reason, I promise you, it's really not that hard. It's really, really not. And if you have any question about it, but you want to try it, I would ask you to try it. But absolutely continue to think about the why, because as soon as you make that decision, the rest of this is easy. It's no big deal. What do I give a crap about a little sugar in my coffee? Who cares about that? That doesn't matter. I can sit in front of desserts. Is some Jello and cheesecake or carrot cake? I used to like the carrot cake. Is any of that more important than my children's not having their dad scream at them? No. That's my life. That's my why. That's my why. I want you to have your why. And I said I was going to leave you with that, and I'll leave you with maybe there's just one other thing. Tony Robbins. He was talking about health one day, and I like Tony Robbins. I don't like him as much as David Goggins, quite frank, but I do like Tony Robbins, and he talked about this too. He said people that have that are healthy have tons of dreams and tons of goals, and they're out there, pounding the sand, because the people that aren't healthy have one goal, and that's to get healthy. I think I kind of feel like that a little bit. Everything is secondary to me getting healthy. So with that, please, if you're going to embark on this, don't do it haphazardly. Do it with a dream to get healthy, a dream to improve the world. Because I want you to join me on this maybe one day down the road. Because I would love to have this I don't know if you call this a podcast, but this thing I'm doing, I would love to start improving this, where there's people that can come on and join me and say, here, I did this too, and it worked. But it started with having a dream that was big enough that the facts don't count. The dream has to be big enough that you can overcome whatever's thrown at you. Whatever's thrown at you. It has to be that big. It has to be that big to accomplish anything in life. And specifically for this, you're going to be going shopping and walking down the aisles, and you're going to be saying, I've done it. I've already done it. My brain beats me up and go, oh, that looks really yummy. You'll be at restaurants, and you'll be challenged. Okay, it wasn't a challenge to sit in front of the desserts. It just made me consciously think about it. That's all. I've gone out a lot with my kids, to restaurants, and I can promise you that you'll see this. Ooh, another song. You'll see this, that when you commit, it's no big deal. It's absolutely no big deal, because your dream is big enough that won't matter. So I'm gonna sign off here, and I love you guys. If I want to hear from you as things happen good in your life, because this is going to make that happen. I promise you it's going to make that happen. You commit like I'm committing, and I am committing. You hold me to that. I am committing. I don't know if y'all can see that, but my friend Kim is calling. All right, Kim, I'll call you back. Okay. I'll talk to you soon.